Marbs here, and welcome back to Retro Marbs. Now today, we're going to check out the new Atari Pac-Man 2600 Plus console. Now this isn't just a re-release, but instead I would call it a great homage to one of gaming's biggest collaborations, to celebrate 50 years of Pac-Man and Atari. So let's crank it up and find out what it is all about. But before we get started, this reviewer's package was sent to me for the purpose of review by Atari and Plaion. Well, they did provide this reviewer's kit. They had no input or say in this review or the content of this review. This is my experience of using the console over the period of several weeks. First off, the presentation is fantastic. This round reviewer's kit actually shipped in a square box, so when it first arrived, it sort of looked like a giant yellow hat box. Now, once you remove the top, you are greeted by the console and two joysticks, the Pac-Man cartridge, and a really nice pin set, I must say. I don't really know if that's exclusive. Plus two adapters for USB and the 2600. The console is a vibrant Pac-Man yellow, and when you turn it on, the little icons in the front will light up, giving it a ultra modern retro vibe. It's a little smaller than the original, but the build quality, like previous generations of the 7800, feels solid. The iconic wood grain is still there, the clicky toggle switches feel good, and like the 7800 Plus, it was designed for modern TVs in mind with HDMI output, and the Pac-Man 2600 uses the 7800 main board, so it uses the same updates and enhancements. And I do think that the cartridge slot is somewhat improved over the last one that I had. The included CX40 joystick are wireless, and they come in a variety of colors representing Pac-Man and each of the ghosts. These additional sticks are available separately for those who want to collect them all. The new CX40 Plus, I would say, is a little bit stiffer than what you might remember from the old CX40, so it may take a little time to get used to the movement. And speaking of that, a couple of tips that I can give you is make sure that the HDMI port on your TV is in game mode, because I'll tell you, the 720p picture that comes out of this is timed for it to be in game mode on your television. Now, I gotta be honest with you, I still don't know that I'm really sold on the controllers, but I can tell you, you have to use whatever works best for you. I gotta say, I'm still using the wired BD retro mods now, so that's kind of my thing for the time being. Now let's talk about the included Pac-Man double feature cartridge. It features both the Pac-Man 2600 and 7800 version. And if you're a purist, get ready for some nostalgic frustration, because we're talking here about the original Pac-Man 2600 here. Yes, that Pac-Man port that people hated on for its graphics and its sound effect and the ghost flicker and everything, but it is unique, okay? And that's just part of the fun, I guess, and it's a piece of gaming history. But after playing this, I gotta be honest, I knew right away I was gonna be playing the 7800 version, which is vastly superior. The vastly superior 7800 version of Pac-Man is fully backwards compatible with the original 7800 cartridge, and it supports both 2600 and 7800 games. The 7800 version is a significant upgrade, so don't sleep on that, and closer to the original Pac-Man arcade experience. But that does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that it's easy. The Pac-Man 2600 Plus blends the look and feel of this Pac-Man offering, and I think it's more of a console. I think what you gotta understand what you're buying here. This is an authentic cartridge swapping experience using proven emulation technology to emulate both 2600 and 7800 games by dumping the game and running it on a modern TV using HDMI output. Now, it offers both 4:3 and 16:9 widescreen modes at 720p, so you can play any way you want. Now, it doesn't require any special CRT or adapter, and you know, if you come across a crate of Atari carts in your attic, this is a great way to check them out. Now, here's where things get a little dicey. Okay? At a cost of $170, you know, I can see how frustrated some people are when the 7800 Plus is on sale for $60. But you gotta understand here one thing. You do have the licensing from Namco, which contributes a lot to making this more expensive. But I think one has to understand here, to call it a functional collectible might be a better way of looking at this. Because I gotta be honest, it looks killer on the shelf. So here's how I break it down. The pros are, are, it's a fantastic eye-catching design. It's a perfect way to play your original 2600 and 7800 carts on a modern TV. It has good support, updates to fix games that don't work. Ample numbers of cheap 2600 used games are out there, so it does keep costs more reasonable. It's great for collectors and a conversation piece that just sits on the shelf. Now, the joysticks can feel a little bit stiff at first, and that's one of the cons, as well as some purists have wished for an FPGA solution. But this emulation's excellent. While not impossible, I do think that the original 2600 Pac-Man is rough. And, you know, I think it's going to invoke the same level of frustration that I felt when it originally came out. Now, if you're a longtime Atari fan or you're curious about gaming history, this console is a fantastic purchase, and it provides the modern conveniences that you would expect in a video game console. But it can play 2600 and 7800 games, and you can go to your local retro store and load up. So, what do you think? Did you play the original Atari Pac-Man? Are you planning to pick this Atari Pac-Man console up? Are you going to wait for the Intellivision Sprint instead? Now, if you want to pick the console up, there is a link in the description that you could use to pick it up on Amazon, and the channel will get a little bit of a commission for that sale. I gotta be honest with you, I think it's a good purchase. I think it's solid. People are giving it a bad rap because of the price, but honestly, it's a really good experience for the money, and I would recommend it, but you can get the same experience with the 7800 version for a lot less money. So I guess it just really depends on what you want. My name is Barbs. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.